Hey y'all, today on Let's Talk Life Excel, we are talking about marriage. And just like we always do, we're going to give our in-studio guests time to share the posts from my page to their page. And if you're on, you can start a watch party. You know, don't be a ghost repost. Yes, I got it. Ever since I got it, I've been getting it right ever since. So I'm excited about that. We're going to go live just a second. On air. Y'all let me know when y'all ready.
I'm trying to make sure I do it. Last time, while you was talking, you were talking on my phone too. So let me get it right.
All right.
Yeah. See?
Here we go.
With me.
Hey y'all, today on Let's Talk Life Excel, we are talking marriage. This is the last episode of the dating debate. And I'm really excited because we get to the end of the dating debate, and what better to end the show than marriage? Right? I mean, for a lot of us dating, that would be the end goal, would be marriage, a happy marriage. So we're going to go through this thing from the beginning to the end. You guys take time and chime in. I would love to answer questions. We all want to answer questions. And y'all be having some good insight. Share your thoughts with us. Tag. Share. Okay, let's get right into it. Let's start with dating, right? Because this is the dating debate. So we got to start at the beginning. We can't just jump into marriage, y'all. You can't just... Would you advise a couple to just jump straight into marriage? Okay, so we can't do it on the show. All right, so let's talk about dating. What are some of the things that we should look for in the dating process that would lend to a good marriage?
I would say make sure that the individual behavior is consistent, because people can put on. People can put on and they can have this facade about themselves. But I believe that you have your antennas or your discernment up, and you pay attention to their characteristics, their behaviors, because a person's behavior and their characteristics is their identity makeup. Yeah. So that will show you who that person is.
Oh, I agree. That's been a lesson, reoccurring word this week for me in my lessons has been discernment. And we were talking earlier about just discernment in any sense, whether it's a friendship, a business relationship, or an actual a romantic relationship. Discernment will tell you a lot before anybody says anything.
Yeah.
Discernment will keep you out of stuff that you shouldn't have been nowhere near, not even in, but nowhere near. So I agree, discernment. Now, with discernment, right, because I think a lot of us, and for others, you may call it yellow flags, red flags. Mm-hmm. How big is a discernment red flag?
It's big. I would say it's big because it's almost like when a person gives you an elevator pitch, you know if you want it or not. And with that, with a person, when they do their formal introduction, you know if your discernment level is high or your red flag alert is high. Right. You know within a few seconds if you want to invest in that product or invest in that person. So you use that same principle when you're choosing to date. You use that. You allow a person to give you their elevator pitch, and you can determine, do I want you or not? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, you should know who you are. Yeah. So if you're doing, that's why in speed dating, when people do speed dating, you have to have your elevator pitch when you're presenting yourself to that person. Yeah. So you know who you are and what you're about. Yeah. So individuals with identity issues, they can't really tell you who they are because they don't know who they are. Yeah. So then you can't tell me who you are and what I can expect.
Mm-hmm. And that's it. Man. I got chills. Yeah. I got chills. So a discernment red flag is a big deal. Should be a deal breaker. Mm-hmm. And we're not talking about whether they tell you where they work and then you judge it. We're not talking about judging, but we're talking about being a good judge of character, not of the person. I remember this week I was in just regular conversation, and I said, and it's little off topic, but it brought up to my mind that conversation where I was like, ooh, that is a well-dressed man. And that's all I said. I said, oh, I just love his style, well dressed. The person, as soon as the person walked out, another person chimed in and said, oh, well, he's not really good at this. And I said, well, I'm not talking about what he does. I'm talking about who he is. Like, I started my sentence about, his presentation. He knows that self-care is important.
Right.
And I like that about him. And I've talked to him on several occasions, and he seems to be a man of good character. And, just running into him that morning, he just looked good. I'm trying to get a man a compliment. He's not even in there. Somebody trying to steal his shine. And I said, and I just had to put that person in place and say, I'm not talking about what he does, what he's good at. I'm talking about who he is. So it's the difference between judging and being a good judge of character. I mean, it's a fine line. I think it's a very thin line. But you have to separate who a person is from who you assess that person to be. Because people are going to tell you who they are eventually. Now, we all have a good representative on the first time. I'm going to be, a little bit probably more charming than I am. We all get in that space where we can get comfortable. But I'm telling you, with your discernment, you can see all through that comfort.
Yeah.
How big is communication even before the dating process begins?
Yeah, that was something that I was just thinking about that I was actually going to say. To me, that's like the most important thing, because you really want to get the time. You want to get take the time to know the person. Right. And even with that, just taking time. Like, don't rush into it. I think a lot of times when people are dating, they trying to find somebody, they don't actually be patient about the process. And so that's why a lot of people are getting into relationships too quick, and they're not actually lasting, because you actually have to take the time to get to know somebody. That's very, very, very important, because depending on how they were raised, the different values that they acquired after they got out of the home, you want to take the time to get to know all of those details about the person, because if you're going to be thinking about willing to put your life in that person's hands, that's very, very important.
Yes, talk about it, because we talking about marriage, and I'm gonna say talking about. We talking about marriage. So we can't be talking about this. We gotta be talking about it.
Be real.
Let's get down to the meat of this. Let's get to the core, because at the root of this, can I trust you with my life?
Yeah,
that's it.
Because my finances are my day-to-day living, my well-being, my emotional health, my physical health. Because we've all gotten with somebody and the balance was off.
Right.
And instead of just kind of moving around and being secure in the process, and okay, you know what, this may not be my situation. Because and this is what I've had to learn dating. Just because they aren't for you don't mean they're a bad person.
Right. Yeah.
Someone's like, he this and he that, or she this and she that. She's just not for you. Or he's not for you.
Right.
Doesn't make, but some of us do have some character flaws that we're not dealing with. We're not addressing, we're not healing. So it makes us not the most refined person that we can be. It makes us a person where we're not as grown. And people throw that word around. Grown is not an age. Grown is growth over hurt, growth in healing, growth in knowledge, growth in wisdom. That's what being grown is.
Yes.
How important is communication to you in the dating? Are you dating?
I'm not dating. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for the streets.
I just put it out there.
I'm not. Because before, when I would date, like, I wasn't whole.
Right.
And I can see that now looking back. And so I would date from a broken place. I was lonely. I was desperate. I was trying to fill a void. And so now I'm just taking that time to really connect with God, really find out who I am, and get healed from some past things, so that I could take the time so I can really love the person that I'm with. Like, I want a whole relationship. I don't want to just be in something just for social media or just for comfort. Like, I want it to be real. I want a purpose partner.
Right.
So purpose big on communication is major.
I'm so excited about the show. I want my guests to introduce themselves. Like, I just let's just get right into it.
Yeah.
Before we do, the conversation already got good. I'm in the same place with you. I'm like, you know what, Lord, if you sit me down, this is my sit down season. I can enjoy some good friendships, but I'm not pressed to be pressing something
Yes.
that's not gonna work. You know, you have to get out of that pressing mode sometimes. You know, this grapes, it ain't grapes, it's dating. You know, some of us in there trying to stomp a relationship into something better. It ain't grapes. But I'm your host, Shunte Gamble. We're talking about dating. I know we got right into it.
I'm Lataria Peterson, life coach, speaker, author, all that good stuff.
He always give me.
I know.
We are Jesse and Keandra Upson. We are the founders of Organic Love, and we are also the CEOs of Ignited Swag Clothing Line.
I love it. And they're all here because they have so much information, as you can tell. I mean, we've only been talking just a few minutes. We got right to the good stuff. I love it. I'm exactly where you are. I think that is the best place that single people can be, in a state of just being patient.
Because you're going to attract what you are, what's on the inside of you. You're going to attract.
Come on now.
And I played that victim role for a long time, and I would attract the same people because I was playing the victim, not taking ownership of where I was. And then that same hurt was inside of the people that I was dating. And we just attracted to each other, and it was just toxic, you know? And I'm not an ex-badger or anything like that. Like, I don't, because I was attracted to that person some kind of way.
Exactly.
Something about them attracted us together. So I'm not like, once we leave, like, I'm not going, he was this, he was that. No, like, because you played a part in that.
Yeah, so, I agree. I think that is a healthy way. And sometimes it takes a while to get to that place. And that's because you grown, right? Because you've grown, you know, you've taken that time to be like, okay, you know what, I need to take accountability in this part of my life. And that's what I was talking to you guys about a couple of weeks ago about facing forward. You know, that was last week. I had to be really honest with myself and say, am I really facing forward holistically? Or am I doing good in this one area because it's more comfortable to face these kinds of things because they didn't really have such a deep impact? But what about that stuff that you got to face, and you got to face the emotions that still come with it? You know, so that you can get through that thing, you know? I think that is so important. What about intentions? Intention when you dating, your intentions. So when I was dating, I would ask the person, like, what are your intentions for this?
Okay.
And I had some people say, you know, up front, and I appreciated this. I said, Lord, thank you for being a no filter, because I'd rather you tell me right now you don't have no intention, so I can be like, all right, thank you. I'll have to talk. I'll call you back.
Right.
I'm gonna go take a sabbatical.
But I feel like that's something that definitely should be in the forefront, so you can know, like how you saying, basically, like what do you want? So because I was like, when you get to a certain age, it's like I really don't have time to be messing around, like playing games. It's like you get to a point to where you don't, like, when you in purpose, you don't really have time for the bull. Basically,
that's right.
You know
so none of it.
Like I said, you just want to be intentional about that type of stuff.
For real. And some people be like, oh, you shouldn't ask that. Why not? Why not? You have to, because you need to know, like you said, is this going to be a situation? Could we just be friends out of this situation? And even when they say friends, if you let some people define friends, it's really a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, and they talking about friends. But from what you're describing to me, that sounds like a girlfriend. So you even got to be careful with the process of dating itself. Like, if you want to be friends, then what kind of friends do you want to be? Because this is what friends mean to me.
That go back with the communication.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So all of that stuff, it wraps around each other. Like how you're saying, you got to be clear and also know, like you're saying, their background, how they think, like how do they understand. So definitely when you communicate, they might be you saying one thing, but they're hearing something else. Like how you saying, okay, I say girlfriend, but you hearing one thing and he's saying something else. You know?
Yeah. I'd be like, well, do you even hear yourself at times? Like, do you really hear what you are saying to me? Because that is not matching up, you know? And then you know this, daters, y'all know this is where peace comes in at. and you don't have peace about a situation because what they're saying is not matching their actions, and then you're in a state of restlessness. You all stressed out when you could. It's been there, done that, and it took time of being wasted, of looking back a year later, a year and a half later, like, we still in the same spot from the first conversation.
Like, I ain't got no more years to waste. That's why I'm not dating. Like, I don't have no time to play. I have kids. I have a son and 2 daughters that are watching me. Like, that's major for me. I don't have time to play.
I think too. Also, like, being intentional about, when you say intention, letting them know this is what I'm intending when I'm about to connect with somebody.
Yeah.
These are the things that I'm intending to happen in the future.
And that's where your discernment is going to have to come in, because when you tell someone what your intentions are, they can try to act like that. That's what they're about, and that's really not. And like she said, within time, it'll reveal their real character.
Exactly.
So I mean, like how you said, being honest and forefront about it, like, hey, this is what I'm expecting, and if they try to act that way, but eventually time is going to show if they can really.
And I think too, also maybe even with that, a strategy might be for somebody also is, okay, maybe go into prayer about it and ask God, okay, should I be upfront with them about what I want? What I want.
That's wisdom.
So with a case like that, he might not know that. So you not saying what you want. You sitting back and let some time pass and see. Okay, I'm gonna just pay attention to your actions and see how you're gonna act, and allow God to pretty much show you, like how we talking about the red flags.
And if we all see what we want to see, because and we can't deny what we like. You can't deny the truth. We try to like gloss it over and be like, okay, well, you know what, I'm gonna give it a couple more weeks. But I've gotten down to the point, and then I've shared this, and some people are like, oh, that's harsh. I don't think it's harsh. It's like, I know on the first phone call whether I want to see you in person or for the next time. Like, I don't have to have 10 phone calls with you. Like, there are some times where maybe it wasn't good, you was busy, they was busy, it really wasn't a good conversation. But I know after that first phone call, and it took a bad date. That's what my friend told me to write a book. I can tell you, I got some bad day stories. It took I should have known it was going to be a bad date when I told him that his gold pouch thing was cute, and he said it was mustard, was not gold. I should have known.
Listen, I don't know if that's judgmental, but I'm gonna need my man to not know that color that much. I don't.
Well, I'm gonna need him to know, but don't correct me on it like that with an attitude.
Like purple and fuchsia.
Don't know that.
I was like, bro, calm down. That's still in the shade of gold. You better be looking at it and say yellow.
You knew it was going down when that happened. That's it.
They ended with like, should we get the check? I said we should. And I know people like, well, did he pay? I didn't want him to pay. I wanted to pay so I could get on out of there. And I left my own tip. But I was saying, I should have known, because we didn't have a good first conversation. And if I was really just walking in, the process and being patient and discernment, using all of those different strategies, I wouldn't even spend the time. It was the most wasted hour of my life. I could have been watching reality TV, Love After Lockup or something.
Or sleep.
Or another sabbatical. Hey. I think you should be very upfront about what your intentions are. So, and it's not, we're not saying this to be like, we on this date because I want to get married and have 3 kids tomorrow. No, but I am looking for a serious relationship. I would enjoy, getting to know you, those kinds of things versus playing this game or being wishy-washy or being mysterious. I don't need that. I can do a crossword puzzle if I didn't want to know, if I wanted to find out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to have to search for stuff. Like, we should be communicating, it should be open. Now, I definitely agree. Once you get on this first date, you should not just vomit your whole life.
Yeah.
Small talk versus big talk.
Yes. Because not everybody can handle the weight of your past. And that could break a back fast. Because think about how hard it was for you to carry it. go through it. And just superimposing that on somebody within the first 30 minutes of a date, you know, but then that's also be a part with growth, with growth and wisdom. You know, like you said, you sit back and be like, well, should I tell him at an early age I was molested or I was raped? Or should I tell her that I'm really single because I cheated on my wife? You know, how honest to be as you develop that level of trust.
I think too, a big thing is like listening. I don't think that people really, especially like men, I don't think they listen enough sometimes. And like really listening, a lot of times they're listening for a goal. Because say if they got a goal to sleep with a woman, like you listening for that particular goal, you're not really hearing them for who they are. So I think a lot of times, just us as people, we got to fall back and just really try to listen and, you know, hear people.
Right.
And I think on the same with that listening thing, I think that's true for women too, because we hear men say things
like,
and then we see them do others. Yeah. But we don't want to hear the truth. We want something that falls in line with our storybook, what we had planned out, what it looks like for us, what we're thinking and imagining in our head. So even though you're saying one thing, we hear it and we can tell by your actions, we can tell by your body language, but we don't want to really hear it. You know what I'm saying?
One of the things with us, he was like, what did you hear me say? You know, when we communicate, because he want to make sure that I'm not misinterpreting what he said versus the filter that I'm filtering what he said in. So that way that can eliminate a lot of unnecessary disagreement or argument. It's like, what did you hear me say?
With that, if I look at it like a filter that's clogged up, some things are getting through and some things are not getting through.
Ooh, and that clog could be hurt, could be past trauma, it could be denial, just straight denial. That man told you 15 times he did not want a girlfriend, and you still trying to give him a girlfriend. And then he's rejecting you and you hurt. But he told you. And I had to learn that. And I'm being honest. I had to learn that.
Because we hear men, like in the past, before I took the time to heal, I would hear a man say, I'm not ready yet. And I take that as, oh, he can get ready. You know what I'm saying? I heard the yeah. And that's all I need. Like, I got big faith over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I need is a mustard seed, right? He said, yeah. You better run.
I feel
because he's not ready.
You got traction.
No, I'm just saying.
No,
girl.
I've been there. And if a man tell you he is not ready, he is not ready.
He's not.
He is not. Let me save you a couple of tears. Let me save you at least one pack of lashes. That man is not ready. If the woman says she's not ready, she's not ready. It just is what it is, because you have to, and that is a level of maturity on that other person's part. And then after that, whatever comes is on you, not them, because you chose to continue down that road with them. So what I've done is, that's why I asked, what you want.
Listen, you said if a woman say she not ready, if a woman say she not ready, she don't want you.
Oh,
like, cause we don't really say stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not gonna be that. We're gonna come easy with it. I'm gonna come easy. I don't like hurting people's feelings. If a woman tell you she not ready, you're not the one.
Our story is the opposite. Our story is the opposite. It's like we could give y'all two perspectives of this, because our story is, I told him he was gonna be my husband. He was like, no, I'm not. Like, no, I'm not.
Okay, disclaimer. This has worked for them.
And we always say that.
God's hand is all over this, so don't try this at home.
But what I want people to do is have a vivid picture of it. There's no cookie cutter road to relationship. Because I don't want a person to miss someone that they caught in seed form and they miss it because he wasn't ready when they met him.
Come on.
So it's like, that's why I say that wasn't our story, because I told him he was gonna be my husband. He was like, no, I wasn't. He had like 5 different other women. I'm like, okay, Lord, like, I know this is gonna be my husband. But at the same time, I had to continue to work on myself, because had I not been as strong or where I was at that particular time, that could have broken me, for someone to tell you like, nah, I ain't never get married.
Even with that, though,
but I think it give women fuel.
Yeah, like this does not mean chase.
This is a challenge.
But I
That's
think
like, yeah.
the most important thing was her connection with God and how she
Yes.
believing in what God was telling her. Like to me, when I look back, like I always say, like that was like the most important thing because she had every right to pretty much walk away from it, like especially in the beginning, like that, like oh I don't even need to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Because I definitely wasn't the prototypical guy that you would think would even deserve a wife. Because even when we first got together and we got married, I felt like I didn't even know why God would even give me a wife. Like to be honest with you, like I felt like I was doing and done everything wrong not to get one with the history I had and where I was at the present time. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I know and believe that he was the ultimate factor in the relationship to get here.
So ladies, don't be talking about I called him in seed form. I don't want to hear that. That's my story.
I don't have enough seeds. I'm not catching nothing in seed form.
You need apples.
I need the whole fruit.
You need
the whole fruit.
Yeah.
No, you need a fruit bearing tree.
Yeah, there we go.
But I definitely can attest that this is your relationship is an inspiration because to have someone and to be best friends, and I think through the dating process. You cultivate a friendship. You should be best friends. That's my opinion. I feel like I agree with you, and I agree. I lend to y'all. Purpose partner. That's definitely what I'm looking for because I've had the situation where I was, trying to operate in purpose, and the people that I was connected to could not handle my assignments. They were just intimidated, and I said it, intimidated. Because sometimes you can feel like you're not worthy enough for the other person, but instead of just keeping that on you, you try and impose that on the next person, making them feel bad for going after their dreams,
Yeah.
But I do feel like you have to find somebody who could be a purpose partner.
Yes.
Because this is a thing that you guys are doing together. This is
especially if you have a passion for ministry.
Ooh.
Like I know I have a passion for ministry, and I know that God has a calling on my life and things for me to do. So, and that's going to be near and dear to me, along with my children. So I need you to, I need you to be in ministry too. Like we got to do this together, not necessarily do exactly what I do, but you got to have I need you to have ideally I would want my husband to have a passion for whatever ministry he's serving in, like have a heart for the people. We can do this together. We can do kingdom work together. And if you ain't about that life, then it's,
it's called being equally yoked.
Yeah.
You have to be equally yoked. And if you've ever seen ox with a yoke on it, it's hard if both of the oxen. Because if I say the oxes, so if one ox want to go this way and the other ox wants to go the other way, it is not going to happen. It's going to cause more problems than if they just keep going. Like say that other ox say, "Hey, come on, let's go this way for a little bit." Then you say, "Hey, come on, let's go this way for a little bit." And then, "Hey, let's stop for a little bit. Let's keep going for a little bit. Let's trudge forward for a little bit." So definitely being equally yoked. And that's another issue that arises in the dating process. You're not equally yoked. Then you're super frustrated with this person. And like I said, they're not a bad person because they're not into what you're into. Can they be supportive of what you're doing? Maybe they just support it. Maybe you love volunteering. He don't want to go volunteer. Let him be. Does he support you volunteer?
Yeah,
When you come back, do he say, "Hey, how was it? Did you have a good time?" Or here, look, blah, blah, blah.
Or is it tension? Or why you always, you know what I'm saying? Then you feel guilty. Then you feel like you can't do this because you got to be. Look, I'm talking about the past.
But the past shapes our future.
It does.
Because if you don't want a future that look like your past, you got to start doing things differently in your present. Or else your future gonna look like your past. It can happen, But purpose partner definitely, and friendship.
Yes.
How important is friendship during the dating process?
For us, I think that was like, I think the catapult to get us into, thinking about it for like also like me thinking about marriage. I felt like I got to the point where, man, I could see myself spending the rest of my life with this person here because the friendship was continually building. We would communicate, we would talk. She would tell me about her past, some of the things she had been through, and like I said, I would tell her some of the things I've been through, and so like I said, we just continually build that friendship as far as laughing and joking, and that, like I said, that was like the most important thing in the beginning to build with that friendship, so you can be open and go to the next level if that's what you're seeking.
Right.
And then too, I want to kind of encourage people to never let somebody tell you that you're spending too much time, because the relationship that we have, this works for us.
Right.
You know, and if you and your, you know, partner love spending time together, then do not feel guilty about spending time.
That was funny.
Like, why? You lonely? Like, why? We not. If I'm not with him, I'm not gonna be with you. So what does it matter?
People used to be like, if I was at work and I'd be have my headphones in, I'd be talking to her. She'd be like, well, ain't you going home to your wife? Like, you talking to her all day while you're at work or whatever? And I'd be like, well, we talk a lot. and they be like, y'all got that much to talk about? Yeah, I guess we do. We do it every day.
And I mean, that's just how we are. Like, we vibe like that, to where I don't want to, like, you have, and I'm not knocking anybody who do it, but I'm like, you have some people who rather spend time with their girlfriends than their husband. And I'm like, I'm not that chick. Like, if that works for your marriage,
I feel like something is unhealthy there.
If that works for your marriage, then so be it. But at the end of the day, this is my lifetime partner.
Yeah.
And we evolve every day. So something about him changes daily. And I want to stay in the flow of that current. So when he shifts and he changes, I want to shift and change with him.
And be able to know and sense and discern, you know,
and
not
take offense
with your man.
And not take offense, like, oh, he changed. Well, he should, and you should be changed too. But he ain't the same. Why would you want him to be the same?
Goodness.
Nah, we're not talking about switching up. Now there's a difference. You was doing all this before. I told you I like roses. You was getting me roses. Now that we married, I ain't even seen a little.
Don't switch.
I ain't even seen a bag of seeds. Let's keep growing the seeds.
I got some feedback on that one, because we talked about it in our book, the comparison chapter. You can't compare who they were when you first met them, because we are evolving creatures. So what the girlfriend was doing, that was that season of her life to do that. Now that she's a wife, she's shifted, she's evolved. So she is not the person that she was when you first got together. So you can't keep comparing, well, when I met you and such, you was doing this and this and that. Well, I'm not that girl anymore. I've evolved, I've grown. And when you grow, you outgrow some things that used to be, you know, on and popping back then. So you have to understand that when you get into a relationship, when you get into a relationship, I mean, and that's a friendship. People grow. So I can't even look at you and be like, well, you was like this 5 months ago. You're growing, you're evolving. So I can't hold you to that standard. Because you're growing.
I agree.
But that, you gotta definitely mature into that type of stuff. That ain't something that for the immature to deal with something like that, because that's why you see a lot of men complaining about their spouses or whoever they with, because they're actually not growing with the relationship. You have to grow with the relationship, and if you don't, you could be stuck in 5 years ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. And so, like I said, you definitely want to make sure you're growing with it.
And I think that's good. And I think this is why I wanted to have the dating debate. Because if you're marriage minded, you want to be married at the end of this all, then it's literally a growth process. And a lot of us are so frustrated because things aren't growing. You're trying to figure out why. It's because it's not growing. Y'all still on the same level. Y'all still just friends.
Or it might not be growing as fast as you want it to.
Oh, well, that's a different story. That's patience.
It might not be growing as fast as you want it to, but it's probably growing, because usually when you put a seed in the ground, it don't pop up as quick as you would like it to.
But some is a thin line.
Got him.
It is a thin line. Between needing time and wasting time. It is a thin line, and this is what it goes back to discernment. Because then you can say, you know what, I'm just being a little impatient, you know. And I've had that experience where after my divorce, I tried to date again. I don't know why, but I did. I'm human. And I told the person, I said, you know, this is where I am. I was very honest though. Said, this is where I am. You know, I'm really trying to, you know, get back to the place of being vulnerable, but I need time. And he couldn't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, it wasn't growing for him because he wanted it to happen overnight.
Yeah.
I was like, but if you continue to deal with me, then you're dealing with me knowing where I am. I've told you where I am. And a part on me was not being the toxic person, though.
Mm-hmm.
You can't use that as an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
If a person still wants to invest in you time and energy and love or whatever the case, you still don't have the authority to be the toxicity in their life.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be working on you simultaneously at the same time.
Yeah.
And you may have to learn how to date or not date or wait, or, it's all about timing. That's what I've learned.
Yeah.
It's really everything in life is about time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's every single thing in life is about timing. So we have to also put that onto the dating process, and things should be growing.
Yes.
And we're not saying at just like some exponential rate, like date one, y'all already discussing marriage, because it could happen, could. But if it doesn't,
unlikely.
right,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Right.
It's
Very
rare.
unlikely.
It's
I'm
rare.
living in 2020.
It's rare, but it could. But if it doesn't, then you have to be patient with the process. And obviously there's more there. Either that person is not going to end up being that person for you, or you're not that person for them. Either way, things have to be growing to a certain point. And once you make it to the marriage step, y'all should have gone through a level of growth that would sustain you from the next level of growth.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like the higher you go, the higher the fall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Thanks.
If you keep going up,
Thanks.
if I'm down here and I fall, it ain't gonna hurt that much. You be like, all right, cool. But you love somebody for 2-3 years and then something happened, that hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Versus getting hurt over about a week or two,
Yeah.
So in a marriage, you've already gone through several challenges. I'm pretty sure life has happened, faith has happened, tests and trials have happened, and you get to this point. And this is where I love this book, Organic Love, and your posts, your messages are all about love. And it's not love like the ideal love, the perfect love, the Disney love. It's about organic love, keeping it real. Like, today I don't like you. You get on my nerves just a little bit. Did you even hear what I said?
A little bit.
But I'm committed to what we have.
Right.
Purpose.
And going through the chapters and the contents, a lot of things we've already touched on, which I feel like is really, really good. Communication is in here. How important is it for having a high level of forgiveness in the book? I'm taking my notes. They're already written for me, though. Forgiveness. Now that we get to a marriage. Well, actually, let me back up. Let me rewind. At a marriage level, once you're considering this person, what would that conversation with yourself look like? If you have a person, y'all have gone through the dating process, and now you're at that point where you're like, you know what? This is a step I should take. What are some things you should consider at that point in the process?
I think just really looking at the big picture as far as what you're possibly going to be getting yourself into, the longevity of marriage. A lot of times people don't look at that. I'll be honest with you. One thing I really looked at was like being intimate. I'm like, man, I'm about to be intimate with this person right here for the rest of my life, and that's it. Like I ain't like that messed me up right there.
Sex is in here too.
So I'm just saying, depending on how you view things and your mentality, these are the things that are gonna cross your mind.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just being real.
Yeah. I agree. 'Cause, I mean,
Yeah.
that's right up there with money. I'm just saying.
Oh man,
Yeah.
But and two, it's like I think people just don't think about those type of things because they just think that the way that they see love, it'll pretty much take care of everything. But,
that's good.
But from the whole perspective of, you have to even really, like how we talked about the other day when we spoke, you have to really look at where did you even learn your understanding of love from?
Mhm.
I always have to go back
Yes,
to that
that's
particular
number one.
point because that right there, it'll make or break you.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. You have to have, well, hopefully at that point, you should have a good foundation on what that love is between those two people.
And I know I
You
didn't.
know?
I definitely didn't.
A lot of
I
people don't.
definitely-
A lot of people
don't.
don't know the difference between in love, and you can be in love, but I feel like there's stages where you won't be in love, but you
Right.
still have to love because
Yes.
you still have to honor the commitment you made and
Right.
take value in that. And it's,
Right.
it's a difference. It's not love is a verb. It's like it's an action.
It
We're
is.
not always gonna feel like, oh, I just love you. And it's gonna be some times where you just look at them and be like,
Mm-mm. Like, no, that ain't gonna work.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I
And I
agree.
had to learn what love is, and now I can see that. Yeah,
Yeah, I agree with
And
that.
I just think too, speaking from an organic love perspective, is that when we were studying what love was, because apparently we weren't loving each other like God called us to love.
Mhm.
And so we had to do research on what love was. And that's why I can always say that if you are truly loving someone, that's something that you can't fall out of, because scripture says that God is love.
Yeah,
And he's unchanging. He never changes. So being that he's love and he never changes, if it's really love, you can't fall out of that.
Yeah.
I think that people misinterpret love from lust, and they
yeah,
they-
that's major.
they both
That's major.
produce the same type of feeling chemically with us anyway.
And that's the
when we're
key
right
word, the feeling.
Yeah.
The feeling. Like,
Ooh.
people get pretty much caught up in their feelings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
I
That's
knew
it.
I knew
That's it.
that I
learned
loved
that last
her
weekend.
when I started thinking, okay, I know I love my wife just because my decision making start changing. Not more or less like how she made me feel. You know what I'm saying? Because like I always say, it were times to where she didn't make me feel a certain type of way, but my decision making made me understand, okay, now I really think I love the one because I didn't make this type of decision.
Yeah.
Because back in the
But
day,
you
I
chose
was,
her. You chose her over yourself and how you felt.
Yeah.
love is
I
not
like that.
self-seeking.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yes.
It's not.
Yes.
I definitely. This is really good. I mean,
Yeah, that's good.
and
stuff.
we're having good feedback on here, and a lot of people are what they talking about. Felicia says yes, we need to be going in the same direction. Miss Johnson says that she's been married for 10 years, so woo woo. Because we're talking about longevity, and you have to be. You definitely have to be equally yoked to be able to outlast life. And I met somebody that's like, I want to love so strong to where if she die, I'm dying the next day. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I might have to.
I love you, but I got some other stuff
I
to
love
do.
you. What's love got to do with it at that point?
Oh man.
But I
That
understand
sounds like
it was, well, you meant like naturally in
Yeah,
old age.
Yeah.
You know, and I got what he was saying.
Yeah.
You know, but no, I mean, even if I'm
I get it.
277 and you know, I'm gonna have to go keep waking up.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're gonna honor you and everything, you know.
Yeah.
You know, we'll make sure everything is nice and settled in, but we're going to keep the show moving. But I understood what he was saying about love, and that goes back to what was his idea of love. Like, what did he see? And he had a lot of trauma, so for him, love was to the end. We're doing this thing to the end, and I felt that. And you have to know what love is before you can expect it from anybody else.
Right.
And then you have to also know how you need love, because everybody doesn't need the same type of love. And that's in the beginning, in the dating process. Be honest. Like if you like communication, like daily communication, tell him. Like, you ain't gotta be like, you gotta call me every day, all day long.
Love languages.
But we do all have a way. Like 10 years ago, my love language was words of affirmation. Now, I don't even want you to say nothing now. Do because I've learned that people can say anything. Don't do this. Make it happen. Show me something. So now it's more of, I'm just,
like Come
Like,
on, I'm feeling
already.
you. Look.
You know, so now it's, you know, when people do something, I can't think of the love language, but I definitely agree with levels of love. And then I want to talk about avoid comparison. I want to get back to that because
that's a big one.
yeah, that's a really big one, especially in marriages. Now we've gone through the dating process, so we're at this point in the conversation. Two people have decided that this is what they want to do. In the last just few minutes of talking, that person was in that space where is this the person, and they've already decided. So we're growing. We're at the level where now we're in this thing. We've figured out our depths of love. We've talked about, you know, allowing your partner to grow. You guys are in purpose. Y'all best friends, but there is still room every day for improvement and for safeguard, because sometimes you got to safeguard your relationship from the world, from the enemy, because we know that, you know, the lovely things that God creates, the enemy is always looking to destroy and weasel in little bitty cracks. So comparison, the crack of comparison.
I definitely dealt with that hard as far as, you know, we would have talks, and like I would tell her there was certain things that I felt like she was doing in the beginning, and you know, this is years later, and I'm like, you know, I feel like these are issues, and so God ended up dealing with me about the situation, just really helping me understand that my wife is growing, and at the same time that there were things that he had me look at myself and like, dude, it's certain stuff that you was doing in the beginning that you're not even doing anymore. So I had to really get out of that mindset of comparing who she was to who she is right now, and just enjoy who she is and embrace who she is and continue to build her up and go forward from that particular point. But I definitely had a bad issue with that.
Yeah, I mean, and I can remember being married and we went out on a date, double date, and those can be dangerous. Double dates can be dangerous. And I just remember the other wife just doting on her husband, all these things that he was doing. And I kept thinking to myself, he ain't got none of that for me. Just sitting, if I had a posture, if my attitude was a posture, it was just like this. But I had to constantly check myself. And, you know, a lot of times the root of comparison is not really that you want what the other person is getting. It's other deficiencies that you haven't dealt with within yourself. Because a lot of those gaps can be filled by just a little bit of self-care and self-love and appreciation for what you do have. And then it could be just a moment for awareness. Like, okay, you know what? Maybe I haven't really been communicating my needs at this season in our relationship. Maybe he thought it was okay to slack up in this area because I haven't really been looking for it. You know, so not every time somebody stops doing something is because they're trying to hurt you. Maybe they feel like you don't need it no more. Like, you know, but that's where communication comes back in, because I've had that experience. And then even we had that experience. I mean, if a lot of us were honest, we've compared just our personal selves to other people. We could see somebody as successful, and we're like, man, why am I not there? Or I'm not on the level, so I'm not making a difference. You know, it doesn't just have to be in a relationship. So the crack of comparison could lead to a big split, a divide, if it goes unchecked.
It's a thief.
It is. It robs you of your present.
Right.
But looking for things that you might not even want. That's the trick of it. You don't even want that. You just want it because you don't have what. Exactly.
Man.
Right.
Big time.
Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one right here. On page 17. Okay. For Anthony Thomas and Josephina Thomas, I am taking notes. Kingdom Talk, shout out. It says understanding roles. That's a good one. Teach us.
Well, in a marriage, you have to understand your roles, because you have to look at individuals' culture, beliefs, like their beliefs, how they were their upbringing, and being that some people come up in a single parent household where the woman played the role of a man, and then when that woman gets married, she doesn't know how to submit. She's used to being dominant. You know, she's not used to submitting. So it's good to get the Bible and do your research on what is my role as a wife.
Right.
And everybody throw that around. Oh, I'm a Proverbs.
Ooh, that came to my mind. Ooh.
And it's just like,
I'm
when you really sit and read that, when you
Mm-mm.
really sit, oh, girl was up all night making clothes, praying over her kids. You know what I'm saying? So you saying you did really study her character, really understand that. And even there's some men who are so passive that they don't understand that you were designed to be a covering. You were assigned to be like the head, the leader of your household. And there's a lot of men in today's society who don't know how to lead.
Right.
Ooh. So when we talk about leading a household, you can't lead yourself. So how you gonna lead me and our offspring?
Yeah, that's a good point. And that you can tell whether a person is a leader, like say for instance in a female male situation where you're the female dating. If he's a leader, he's going to be leading in the dating process too. He's going to be taking y'all to the next level. And if it's not growing, then he's not taking you to that next level. He's not leading you to a place where he can be vulnerable with you. He's not leading you there. And because I had this conversation with somebody, I said, well, I just follow your lead. And I don't think he'd ever heard that before. Heard somebody say that. And I'm not saying you do whatever somebody say do. That's not following the lead.
But that's how we're wired.
That's being silly and unwise. It just means letting somebody control the flow, and I say that lightly, but letting them lead the way. It's okay, because we could be leading side by side.
Because we're called to help. And you got to give me something to help you with. If you don't give me anything to help you with, then how can I be the helper that I'm called to be? And then women, being that we're wired to be helpers, if you don't have something for us to do, we're going to find something to do.
Right. Yeah.
Because we're wired to help.
Yeah.
We're wired to be contributing factors to whatever it is. You know, so that's why it's good to understand your role and understand how to be submissive, understand how to lead, understand how to work and cultivate what God has given you so that more can be produced, be fruitful and multiply. That's not just limited to kids.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
I mean?
You want your kids to do what you want them to do. And it's also, and I know a lot of people might be jerking their neck whenever we say submissive, but it, like I said, it's not being unwise. It's not being a yes person. That's not it as well, because the husband is also supposed to respect her too and hold her high.
That's why it's important who you submit to. And I feel like a lot of women that have that issue is because they either seen it modeled incorrectly and grew up in a home where it was incorrect, or they've been in a relationship themselves where they were submitted to something that was just a mess. And like, if he's, for one, I feel like if he's not submitted to God, then you're going to be submitting to his desires. And the Bible says that we can't trust the desires of our heart. So if he's not submitted to God, you submit to his desires, it's just it's toxic. It's just off. Like, ain't no telling what y'all gonna be doing. Ain't no telling you.
I like that.
I'm just saying, it's real.
It's
like
true.
I've been in that position where like I was all over the place. I was all over the place, literally.
All these things will take away your peace. So if you don't have a level of peace that is actual peaceful, you know, then you have to look at those aspects in your relationship and within yourself to say, where is my peace being taken? In what area is my peace being taken? Because overall, you can have a good relationship and then have these little things that I always feel like if you don't address the little things, they become bigger things.
I think that God is a God of order, right?
Yes.
So a lot of times when he's preying on, the enemy is preying on making sure that the order is wrong. So that's why you don't have a lot of men or young men understanding their roles in a marriage, because you're going to have dysfunction and God is not going to be able to flow properly in the marriage. So that's a big reason why, we have a disconnect with understanding order. You know what I'm saying? Basically, because the enemy can prey on that. But like I said, we need to make sure that we get the roles in order so God can actually flow properly in the marriage.
I agree. And you have to have a level of security to do that. You can't be an insecure person and lead. You can't even be an insecure leader. And, that's not going to work either.
And also, if you are married and you know, your husband or the wife, you know, may not be in one accord.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like with the wife, what it talks about in First Peter, where it talks about you'll win your husband over, you know, if he's not a believer.
Yeah.
And that comes with consistency, because if you feel like your husband is not acting right, you still have to be consistent in your behavior unto God.
Right.
You still have to be who God has called you
Unto
to be.
God.
Yes.
You can't match his foolery, right? And no, because I've done that. I'm
me
like,
too.
well, I'm gonna match it. You know, you're not gonna outdo
You
me.
stand out, I'm staying out.
Exactly.
We both stand out.
You talk to me crazy, I'm talk to you crazy.
Yeah, like,
you know,
yeah.
and you know that gets you. It turns you into somebody you're not.
Yeah.
And then you gotta backtrack and go through all these extra layers of healing because now you've grown into somebody that you not even. So you was a laid back person, all of a sudden you got a short fuse. You know, you could talk to somebody decent, but then all of a sudden you would cuss the person out real quick, you know, and you would look back like, man, this person being in this situation has really changed me. I've allowed myself to be in a toxic situation. I definitely agree with that. I think, I'm just saying. Now, before we go, because we are at the end, we are definitely at, I know that was a good conversation.
Yeah.
I definitely want to touch on this though. It says signs of a healthy marriage. So what are the signs? What do you all feel are the number one signs of a healthy marriage?
Communication. Quick to forgive.
Hey, really, to be honest with you, when I look at her, that's how I know that our marriage is healthy. When I see her growing and flourishing and doing things, like I know that's when if I saw that in a marriage and I see that the woman is flourishing and she doing her thing and more gifts are flowing out of her, then I know he doing something right. It might not be out in the open, but he doing something what he's supposed to be doing, because that's what you want to see. You want to see growth.
He doing something right, and he's about to get left.
I mean, but because your partner should grow.
Yeah.
Like you should want your person to be the best that they could be.
Yeah.
To activate as many gifts as possible. Because a lot of times you'll find out that you weren't capable. You thought you weren't capable of something that you became a master at. You know, at the end of the situation. So definitely good communication. Things should be growing. Both people should be growing. You should have patience because both of you guys are not going to grow at the same time. There will be seasons of no growth, and you'll be okay with that too, you know. But definitely, at the end of the day, communication, growth,
forgiveness,
quick
to forgive,
faithfulness.
Yeah, definitely that.
Faithfulness. Now, faithfulness, I don't know if y'all agree, but I could spread that out over many things. Being faithful with the finances. So if I told you, you know, if this is what I'm doing with the money, then this is what I'm doing with the money. If this is what you're trusting me to do with it, I'm doing with it. I'm not doing my own thing with it. Faithfulness when it comes to the marriage bed and the relationship. Faithful with, and I'm just making it very broad. Faithful with being in a marriage. Like I'm going to be faithful with this. Like I'm going to cover this. I'm going to commit to this. I'm going to honor this, uphold this, and not just treating it as something that's disposable.
Right.
What else? What are some other things?
I like that, because what's that saying that says what you do in one thing you'll do in all things? So you can spread faithfulness. It goes in everything. Like if you shady here, it's gonna spill over. It's gonna be some shadiness in some other areas too. Yeah, that works. Yeah.
And trust, you know, trust, honesty, integrity. You know, be about your word.
Girl, I had to breathe.
I know. I just breathe.
Exhale.
Be about
Took
your
a breath.
word. You know, because with him, and early in our marriage, I would say I would do one thing and it would slip my mind, but he's still holding me accountable of my word. So if the enemy tried to come in to where my word wasn't bonded, if he's expecting what I said was going to happen, and because it slipped my mind, that couldn't be my excuse. So I really integrity, be about what you're saying.
Integrity is good, and that's just something in any relationship. And I want to say in business too, you have to have integrity when you're dealing with other people because it's a relationship. You have to have integrity when you're dealing with your kids because you're going to make mistakes as a parent, and you have to be able to go back to those kids and say, my bad. I didn't mean this, I messed this up. I didn't do this right. Or, and then definitely in your marriage.
I would think when you just said that, it came to my mind as far as be willing to let them make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times you put high expectations.
Yeah, the expectations.
So like you don't
that
want
was
to do
the
that.
last show.
Yeah, so you don't really want to put those high expectations on people, and you actually hurting yourself in a relationship more than you know.
Right. And those things that should all be communicated. That goes back to communication too. So if you expect something, then just let it be known. Be like, hey, babe, I really like when you do this. I always say it's not really what you say so much as how you say it. It's the delivery. It's the delivery. Because I can say something that I know gonna gut you, but if I deliver that through a channel of love, then it's not gonna feel like betrayal. Or mistrust, or a jab, personal jab. It's still gonna hurt. Yeah, but it could be more well received.
I would think too, and also know that when you in the marriage, the person care about you, and they not really just doing stuff to try to hurt you.
Yes.
A lot of times, like you get in your mind because you get offended about something or a situation happen. That person really genuinely cares about you and loves you, and they might do something that might actually. They didn't even know they did.
Yes. Yeah. And that goes back to the whole forgiveness thing. Because you're two imperfect people trying to have something perfect. Yeah. So with that first part, it's still going to be imperfect. No matter how good any relationship is, they still have problems. Kevin says loyalty is one for him. And I definitely agree. Yeah. Loyalty is important. Like if I need to know where your loyalties lie. Tell me right now, right now. If it's your kids, and that's when blended marriages too. If your loyalty is more in your children than this marriage, that could pose problems too.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. So I've thoroughly enjoyed myself.
I have too.
I just gotten to the grit of it, to the root, to the root. But tell us how we can connect with you moving forward, because they've given, being in the presence of something is more of an experience than when you're watching it, man. I am filled up. I'm going to leave in energized, hopeful for marriages, hopeful during the dating process. My bad for shouting us both out.
No, we good. We good. They just gave me so much, because I want to make sure that I love correctly. That it's not just about me. And I think that's another thing that we have to get to when we're pursuing dating. It's not just about you and what you want. It's about the other person. They play a role. So I want to love correctly. Be able to put them before me. It's not just me. It's that person too. So I'm going to have to get the book too.
I'm gonna have to go through it though and really take some notes and highlight. I was like, could you bring me another book? I can't find my book. But tell us how we can connect with you.
So I'm on Instagram, Lataria D Peterson. That's LATARIA Peterson, PETERSON. And I'm also on Facebook under the same name. And March 1st, LatariaPeterson.com will release, and you'll be able to go on there and just explore my page and all that good stuff. So,
And what services do you provide for those who?
So I am a life coach. I really specialize in dating coach, Christian dating, single women especially. I speak, and I'm an author of Sparkle. You'll be able to check that out on the website as well.
Hey, and the Up Sons Organic Love. It is 12 strategies.
12.
I got that wrong last time. Oh, okay.
Straight up.
12 strategies to healthier relationships. So tell us about your book, Organic Love.
Well, basically, he's a distraction, I swear. Organic Love, 12 strategies to healthier relationship. It's a book based for all sorts of relationships. It's not just for marriage, although we do hit marriage a lot because that's the ultimate goal that a lot of people have is marriage. But it's to restore love. The whole ultimate goal is to get organic love, something that's healthy, something that's real, something that's not man-made, and put it back into the households. Because when your family is operating in organic love, then your community, your state, your neighborhood will be able to flow in organic love. And you can purchase Organic Love book and workbook. We give you some application at www.organicloveministries.org. You can also go to Amazon, leave us a review. And the services that we provide, we are certified relationship and marital coaches. And within the next year, I will be licensed to do therapy.
Yeah.
So for right now, we're getting our feet wet with the coaching, and then we'll be able to do therapy sessions once I get my license. So I'm looking forward to being able to do
Like
that.
I see that whole marriage counseling
I
thing,
do.
because y'all are so
I
down
see
to
it.
earth where couples can relate to y'all.
Yeah.
You know, because
And you can relax.
yeah, you can
gotta be all
relax.
stuck,
Like, you know, somebody
stuck
all
with your
suited
problem.
up, and if you turn to this page,
Yeah.
like y'all will be more personable, you know. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And you can catch them. We're part of the squad. You can catch Kendra and Jesse Upson at the retreat. I know we are technically sold out. However, if you miss, we are, praise the Lord, y'all.
Yes,
I worked so hard, and I really, it was a process, because you guys know that I was married. And then I went through a divorce. And through the divorce, I, just kind of slowed down. God made me sit down, really. And I chose to do speaking. That was an outlet that he continued to leave open for me. So now, once he pressed in my spirit last year, hey, it's time to get back to it. I said, okay, well, you know what? A lot of times we're like, I don't know how to keep going. I don't know where to go from here. Sometimes you got to just pick up where you left off at.
Yeah.
And the last where I left off at was with this retreat. And I said, well, let me go back to where I was. And, what ideas did I already have built? The foundation was already built. Maybe I just need to tweak it now that I'm not in that same season. So with that, Facing Forward is a retreat to really empower people to move toward your blessings. I feel like blessings will wait for you. That's why people just sometimes we don't make it to them, but they're there. It's not that they don't exist in the future. We just quit along the way, or our hearts got hard. We had that conversation. But Facing Forward is really to empower you to kind of leave the past where it is. And I spoke last week on live about me just really being honest with myself. I'm like, you telling other people to do it, but are you doing it? And just really being honest, like, okay, well, you know what? I gotta, I gotta let this go. I gotta turn around from this. So Facing Forward is April 24th, 25th. If you want to come, I still have 2 tickets that I kept on purpose.
2.
They are VIP tickets. It's for April 24th, which is the Friday. Wine down social. We'll have wine if you drink it, water if you don't. We'll have a live panel. We'll have a show going on. Kendra and Jesse will be on the show.
She's turning one.
I know, and she doesn't know this is the first time. And I will be calling past radio and podcast guests up on the stage too, so we can have a short, brief talk. So you'll get to see Miss Peterson again. I mean, so excited. The conversation gonna be real and raw. We're gonna talk. I know, right? We're gonna be giving away $500 on the first day. $250 cash prizes. So no gift card. If you got a penny left, that penny in your pocket, it ain't on somebody's card. Okay, and then cash. Give me my money. So you get your money. We have a DJ Party Man, which is my DJ. He'll be back.
Fun,
yeah, I know. So if you've ever seen my dad in action, then you know it's gonna be a show. It's like watching me and Bill. I love him. Shout out, Dad. I know he's probably watching. You got a show today. And then the 25th is a Saturday. We have breakout workouts, shop sessions. Now we're not gonna be working out. We're gonna be working out mentally. But you get to pick your own workshops, and then we come back to get together. We provide you lunch, and then we award 5 business professionals who are making a great impact in their community. So I'm really excited about this. We have just a fabulous lineup. So if you want one of those 2 VIP tickets left, inbox me. Inbox
now.
Right? Yeah. Now.
Right now.
I only have 2 left. We are technically sold out, but I kept them for today's show because we're at the end of the dating debate. I feel like that would be a great gift. Yeah. So inbox me if you want to snag one of those 2 tickets, and we'll see you April 24th, April 25th at the retreat. Now, I will see you guys in a couple of weeks. I'm taking a week off, to be honest. Taking a week off.
Sabbatical.
Right? Sabbatical. Hey. But I'll be back March 6th. We're gonna be cooking in my house, y'all. So up until then, I'm gonna be posting my recipes. I know some of y'all saw that orange on there. I know y'all saw the orange. I'm coming right back today with another great recipe. But for real, I'll have some chefs that will be coming to my home. We'll be cooking in my kitchen, and we'll still be talking. So we'll have a great show. I'll post their recipe. So if you want to try it at home, you can try it at home at a later date.
Audience.
Look,
We can make that happen.
We done drove down.
Audience, we can have y'all sitting at the kitchen table.
Right here.
Hey, see, that's what I'm talking about. When you connected with the right people, that give you some great ideas. So we got Kendra and Jesse outside. Like, I'm gonna put them in the audience. They already in the audience, y'all. They don't even know. Oh Lord! But thank y'all for tuning in. Today's episode 29, the dating debate. We're ending it with marriage. You all have a great weekend. Until the next time, March 6th. See y'all soon. Bye, y'all.
Peace.
That was